Welcome back. This is a big day for us here in our studio because we're about to welcome back with open arms our beloved friend, Sheinelle.
Yes, we are. As you know, Sheinelle stepped away from our show to support her husband and family through Uche's courageous fight against cancer.
Well, before Sheinelle's return over the summer, we sat down to talk about love, about loss, and what she calls her beautiful nightmare.
I think the first question is the one that seems simple, but it's the hardest in some ways, which is just, how are you doing?
That might be the hardest question. You start with the hardest question. In this moment, I'm okay. Day to day, I'm okay. From a macro picture, how am I doing? My heart is shattered. My heart is shattered in a million pieces. The life that I've known since I was 19 is no more. I've always wanted kids, and I have 3 kids of my own now, and they've lost their dad, and I'm their mom. It sucks. So how am I doing? You know, it's day to day. I'm proud of myself for, you know, how I've coped so far. I'm proud of my kids for how we've been able to try to pull through, but it's horrible. It's just horrible. But I'm here, I'm breathing, and I'm okay. I'm okay.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
But something that you've said to me a lot over these months sometimes is it's a beautiful nightmare.
It's a beautiful nightmare.
And when you say that, what do you mean?
You know, everybody knows by now, Uche and I were college sweethearts. And I remember when he was 17 and I was 19. And we were sitting in my dorm room at Northwestern, and we used to have this beautiful view of this clock tower. And we would stare out the window sometimes at the clock tower and just talk and dream, and sometimes just not talk and just be. Fast forward almost 30 years, I'm sitting in this beautiful, beautiful hospital room, and we were looking at this beautiful view of New York City. Here we are again, not talking. And I remember staring out of the window, and I'm like, oh my God, like, it's like this crazy full circle moment. Here we are again, not talking, and it feels like a beautiful nightmare. It felt scary, it felt divine, it felt bigger than us. But at the end of the day, like, when we shut the door and it was just us, that was always when we felt like we were at our best. And my 19-year-old self did it, and then my 47-year-old self was doing it again, and it was just like, and we would just hold hands. And the nurses would come in, and they would call us the lovebirds. And we would just look at each other, say, I love you, and hold hands. But that's what I mean by beautiful nightmare, because I found beauty in the nightmare. And trust me, it is a nightmare. To watch a 45-year-old do 2 triathlons and live and breathe off of soccer and his kids, to take a guy like that and, you know, watch him have to deal with this fight was a nightmare. But the way he fought it, and the way we rallied together, and the way we saw the best of humanity, that was beautiful. So it's my beautiful nightmare.
Going back to the beginning, so many people see you, Sheinelle, on TV, and they see that bright, beautiful smile, and they have no idea that you and Uche have been fighting this battle for a long, long time.
We have.
When did you first realize that he was sick?
It was, I'd say, a few weeks before I ran the marathon. And I know that people will say, oh, what? But I ran that marathon with that on my shoulders. And little did I know that that marathon was going to set me up for a real one. When I ran the marathon, it was like, okay, 1 foot in front of the other, 1 breath at a time. Oh my God, this is so hard, I can't take another step. Yes, you can. You know, it's like all of those things. Who knew it was like a template, a manual for what I was going to have to deal with. And it is interesting too, because, and I've talked to you about this, the people who knew would say, oh my God, you're doing such a good job at faking it. And it really bothered me. I would kind of brush it off, but it bothered me because I thought, I'm not faking it. Like, my joy is real. I was on television for almost a year.
With this happening behind the scenes?
Yeah, I would do the show and then hop in the car and go be with him during chemo.
Did you say, I wasn't faking it till I make it? Your joy was real.
Make it. My joy was real. And I think two things can be true. I can hold on to my joy, first and foremost, because I had my faith. And you couldn't tell me that he wasn't going to beat it. I believed that he was going to be okay. I knew it was going to be tough, but we all believed he would be fine. And I got to that place where I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. So when I decided to take a leave, that was why, because I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. And I was starting to feel like I didn't want to miss it. I didn't want to look back. I wanted to be strong, and I wanted to look back and know that I was strong. But I didn't want to be so strong that I missed this blessing right in front of me. You know, that I missed the fight, that I missed the beauty in the fight, that I missed just looking in his eyes, because I was his oxygen sometimes. I would just, I love you. We're going to be okay. I love you. Look at me. I'm here.
And can I just say, Sheinelle, as your friend that witnessed this, you did that. You put the whole family on your shoulders. You carried him. You never lost that light in your eyes for him. You never lost it, and he never lost that light in his eyes for you.
Yeah, if anything, it feels like it got stronger, you know? Listen, we would have been married 18 years this month, and it just felt like we always kind of had it. And when he was dying, I would say, this sucks. And this is scary, but if you asked me if this was gonna be my fate, I would do it all over again.
You showed love. You did love. You kept the faith. You fought the good fight. And so did he.
Yeah.
Uche was such a fighter, and he had such strong faith.
It was his lifeline. You know, I can easily understand why when people go through something like this, they turn away from their faith. There are times where I'm like, God, I've been praying for this job since I was in 5th grade. Like, yellow construction paper, I did the helmet hair. Miss James will tell you, I did little hoop earrings and a little box by my head in 5th grade, and you got me all the way here and you take my husband. Are you kidding me? Like, really? What did I do? Why me? There can't be a God. Like, no way a God would do that to somebody like Sheinelle. There's no way, right? It would be very easy to think that. But you look at somebody like my husband, his faith is what kept him going. You talk about faith over fear, he had it. And when he was low, there was nothing I could say. There was nothing anyone could say. The only thing that would soothe his heart would be like praise and worship music. And it would just give him this peace. And I watched him in his toughest moments. His faith is what gave him peace. And so I think, okay, if Uche can have faith when his life is on the line, surely I can. And surely we all can. And so I saw him hold on to it, and so then I held on to it as well.
You've been incredibly strong for your kids. You have your own grief and your own sorrow, but you're also raising 3 kids and carrying their grief as well. And how are they doing? How are they handling their young teenagers?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what makes this harder. There are times where if I could just stay in bed, keep the door closed, not answer my phone, and just sit, it would be amazing. But I can't do that because I have 3 little beings who are watching me.
No one gives you a manual on grief, and there really are no rules about it. It comes at unexpected times and places.
I thought grief was linear. You know, there will be a day where I'm okay and I wake up, everything's going my way, I'm okay, I'm like, we're gonna be all right. And then I get on the elevator and this guy gets on and he has the same sneakers that Uche wore in rehab, and I start crying, and the guy's like, you know, so grief is not like, today it's better, it's better, it's better, it's better. Ah, we're there. Grief is like a wave. And what I've told my kids, it's almost like rain can't last forever. And so when the rain comes, in some ways I've learned to just look up at the rain and let it be a cleansing rain and let it clear the air. And so I don't run away from crying anymore when it comes to grief. I see it as like, okay, here comes my cleansing rain, and it's okay. And I almost feel better, and then I go back to what I'm doing. And so I don't fear it anymore. We've all heard the saying that grief is just love with no place to go. And so when it comes now, I'm like, okay, you can come. We can sit for a little bit, and then, okay, now it's time to go.
You're returning to work now. It's back to school time. It's back to work for you. This season is different.
It is.
But you're still you.
I'm still me, and that is why I'm here. I will tell you, I have feverishly searched for a muse, or like, who can I admire? Who's lost their husband that I can be? I went to YouTube and I was trying to find like the closest thing to me. So I Googled Black Widow, and it was just spiders. That's my truth. Fine. Yeah. I'll stop searching for a me and just be me. I know there could be people watching me in hospital rooms around this country. And what I know to be true is that I see you, and I'm part of this club. But cancer doesn't have to steal our joy. We can get up, we can get out of bed, and we can go to work. We can go to school. We can squeeze the most out of the days that we have. And honestly, I feel like Uche's heartbeat lives on in mine. So I owe it to him to just squeeze the most I can out of this thing. It's like, okay, we got this for you. And so for all of us who are grieving, it's like, okay, we can grieve, but we can also still try to move forward. We don't move on, but we move forward with our loved ones. And I hope that just by me being on this set and me returning to work, it's like, okay, if I can do it, so can you. Right? So don't get me wrong, like, my heart still hurts. So if you see me now and you see me laughing, or you turn on the morning show and I'm laughing or having a good time, you root for me, because I'm fighting for my joy.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC, or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.